Now, y'all know when I got the wine glass, it's about to be some mess to sit here and go down. With that being said, come on in, y'all. It's Mr. 6'8", and I'm back at you with another video. Coming to you to do a review on the Friends and Family Hustle with T.I. and Tiny, Season 3, Episode 13. Let's just get right on into it, because I got a lot to say, y'all. Get on in here. So first up here, the episode starts off with there's a trip that, was in the previous episode to where T.I. and Tiny and a couple of, family members, T.I.'s mom, Latrice, I believe it was Regine, Toya, Monica, it was Toya's husband as well. Just a lot of, as far as the pretty much the whole cast on Friends and Family Hustle took a trip to Mexico. And so in the previous episode, it was kind of, I guess you would say, leading up to the point of where we're at now, as far as in the previous episode with discussing the whole, controversy surrounding with Deja Harris and things of that nature. And so this episode here pretty much picked up where they left off, as far as, the whole get into the meat and potatoes of what happened. And so basically things picked up to where Deja was in, her room or at the hotel, and T.I.'s mom, walked in, Latrice, and, basically she was, sitting down and just having a discussion with Deja. And, she was mentioning about, as far as, talking to T.I. in regards to the situation that happened, that has now, made headlines, because as I stated back then, this was like a big headline. So basically, Deja expressed her feelings. She stated that she just wanted to really go back to school and forget about all of this. And, one of the things that I wanted to really grasp into is that, first of all, y'all, now look, before I go any further, y'all got to understand, I'm from a Southern family, and, being that I do have very traditional values, but ain't no way in the hell, even if I did have a daughter, let's just say hypothetically, if I had a child, I'm about to be sitting here going and checking anybody's hymen to see if they've had sex. Who does that? Now, we all know that T.I. has a personality that kind of comes across as a narcissist. So with that being said, he wants to be in control of everything. He never really does feel like he's wrong in anything. And I just feel like that, some things should be kind of kept, I would say, within family business, meaning that don't bring this stuff to the public. Good time well that you a well-known rapper, and anything that you say, people gonna take it and run with it. So why would you even sit here and get this started? But with that said, let me just sit here and calm down and stick to the topic, y'all, because I know I'm getting a little heated or whatnot. But as Latrice was, talking to Deja, she stated that, she knows that she's a private person. She don't really like her business out there. And, as we watch the actual dynamics within the Harris family, we've always known that Deja is kind of more the low-key person. She actually is I guess you would say, she's a part of T.I.'s first relationship with Deja's mom. And, pretty much, I guess it's one of those things to when, whenever there is a child who sometimes may have been, as far as birth by another parent, and there's a half sibling involved, sometimes, you have different personalities that can, as far as mix in with all of that there. And so with that being said, my only thing is that I just feel like that, Deja, she's just, being her authentic self. She's not really as far as an out there person. She likes to keep her business, to herself. And she don't even really talk much, even on the show. Whenever there's a conversation or dialogue, you'll notice that not much is really even being said in response back. Like when I've watched the dynamics between her and other people on the show, as far as, siblings, parents, stuff like that. So that's just her personality. She's just not that celebrity kid that has the whole flashiness going on about her. And I respect her for that, because, not a lot of people, as you can see, there's a whole different, situation when it comes to King and, as far as the other children in the family, because, they've kind of, that's just, who they are, and they're kind of used to the limelight in a lot of their lives, you know, they want the celebrity status and stuff. But with Deja, you don't really see that. She's just a regular girl, and you can tell that she's been raised very well. So I definitely commend her on that. But with that being said, though, what I wanted to sit here and get in is that Deja had mentioned something that stood out to me. She stated that she's trying to sort out her feelings with her father, T.I., and that she basically wanted her dad to come to her to have a conversation, not her have to go and chase behind him, which I feel like, you know, is something that he definitely should do, because he's the one that actually brought the stuff to the limelight. And I feel like that as a father, it's your duty to actually have an open communication with your child so that your child can feel comfortable with talking to you about certain things. Because if not, your child is never going to open up to you. And now that you've embarrassed her ass, honey, out here got her business everywhere, and people out here, you know, as far as the targeting her, because as Latrice said in the first, you know, scene, you know, she basically was telling Deja that, you know, you may have a man that may be out here like, yeah, that's T.I.'s daughter, and she's a virgin, she ain't had sex, and yeah, I'm gonna target her. And like, you got all of these people, you know, are out here probably targeting her now because of the fact of her business is being put out there on Front Street. So I definitely understand that Deja, you know, feels some kind of way that T.I. should definitely be the one to, you know, as far as fix this, as far as with her, not her having to sit and go and chase behind him. So that basically was the first scene that took place. And, you know, I just think that it was a moment, you know, as far as with Deja and Latrice, that was really profounding to me, because it really showed that Deja is just one of those people that she just wanted, you know, she wants to live a regular life outside of the media, basically. So, with that being said, on to the next scene. So, the next scene started with Reginae and her mom, Toya. And basically, they was just out on the beach having a mother and daughter moment, as we know. And, you know, it was just a very, you know, like I said, I feel like this episode really just grasped and was really, you know, informative and educational for those out there who may be dealing with certain, you know, as far as issues with their parents. But basically, Reginae gave her take on how she felt about the situation. And she basically stated that she would feel embarrassed as hell, child, if her dad would sit here and did something like that to her, which I can understand. Who wouldn't feel as embarrassed as hell? That's some bullshit. You don't nobody sit here and do that. That's not normal. At least to me, it's not normal. I mean, I don't have a sister, but like I said, if I have a child, I wouldn't do no shit like that. But we are talking about T.I. here, so I mean, what is there to be surprised about, really? Just saying. But basically, Reginae was saying that she just pretty much feels embarrassed, you know, as far as if that was her, and that, you know, pretty much can't nobody check her about what's going on in between her legs. And that's including Lil Wayne, her father as well. Now, she did go on to see him say, you know, as she was discussing with Toya, and Toya responded also as well, that, you know, even though she believes in as far as, you know, being involved in your child's life. However, Toya stated that she, you know, would never virginity check her children, because that's just not something that seems to be, you know, the norm just to her. And once again, like I said, this is just something that I feel like every parent who has a daughter, I would think, let's just play devil's advocate and say, even if there was a situation to where you did do it, like I said, everything ain't got to be discussed. You can keep some things private to yourself. And T.I., you really could have kept that shit to yourself. You wouldn't have to sit here and go embarrass that girl like that. It was uncalled for. So, you know, with that being said, you know, Reginae, they was just basically having a conversation. Reginae also went on to state how, you know, when her mom, she didn't tell her mom, you know, as far as about her sex life, and she just found out about it. And when Lil Wayne came into the picture and she talked to her dad about it, it was an awkward conversation, you know, and there just was an awkward exchange of words. And, you know, basically the whole situation felt awkward. But what I wanted y'all to sit here and really grasp in that moment is that notice how Toya kept her mouth shut when it came to giving an input on T.I. and his, you know, as far as upbringing with his children. You see that she was like, look, Reginae was doing all that talking, and Toya was just sitting there like, nope. Probably in her mind like, hell no, not doing it. Can't do it. Won't sit here and get me caught up in the middle of no shit with T.I. And look, this is the thing that I feel like that is a problem is that when you have people, and being that, Toya has referred to T.I. in this episode as a little, big brother, and her being a little sister friend like that. If your friends can't check you and check your ass, who can check your ass? Now, I will say that when it comes to parenting, yes, I understand how, people don't want to get involved in other people's parenting and stuff. But, as far as when it comes to your own opinion is just your own opinion. You can give your own opinion without trying to tell somebody how to raise your child. And I feel like it would have been a valid opinion, because you got to keep in mind, if this is really a true friendship that you all have, I mean, after all, it is called T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family. And I feel like that you all should still be able to express your opinion without being afraid of T.I. pretty much, giving you all hell or backlash because of the fact that y'all may have said something out of the way or whatever in these confessionals. And that was my only things that I felt like everybody was holding back, not wanting to really speak on it, out of the sake of T.I. and Tiny's marriage and as far as their parents. And so that was something that stood out to me with that. And like I said, accountability goes a long way with me. That's just with me. But hey, who am I to sit here and judge? I'm just a little old country boy from the South. So on the side note, I just wanted to sit here and go and say, can we just say how gorgeous Reginae is looking, honey, all chocolate, giving you just that gorgeous, just brown, brown skin. I'm talking about my brown skin. Like, it was everything. Like, I was living for the confessional looks. Reginae really has come into her own, as far as person, y'all. She be wearing TikTok the hell out. And, no shade, no tea. The girl, I think, actually got potential in acting, because some of them TikTok videos she be doing, I love it. Like, it's gold. It's pure gold. So I just wanted to see and throw that in there. I'm living for these confessionals. I think all of the, as far as seeing the growth of how everybody is coming to their own, person, is just something that, I always sit back and admire with people. But just wanted to throw that tidbit in there. On to the next Harris. But the scene opens up with Tiny, as far as walking into the room with Toya and the other girl, and they sit in the pool. And, basically they're just having, like a girls' night, girl talk, I'm quite sure, just talking about all kind of random shit and all of that, honey. But what I really wanted to get into was to talk about Toya and Tommy. Now, look, I had to really sit here and take a breath on this, because I went back and watched some previous episodes. And is it just me, or does Tommy not really seem like that he really is into Toya like that? I mean, he always comes across, and I understand his mom has, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was his mom that had passed, her grandmother, but, I understand that he's grieving right now. I understand he's going through a time of grief, but it just seems like that, Tommy is very dismissive of, when it comes to Toya's feelings as it pertains to, as far as trying to work on their marriage. It always seems like that he has an attitude problem. And then when the whole therapy thing came, it seemed like that he waited until she went out of town to sit here and try to want to, as far as do the whole thing. Like, it just seems like that he just really is not here right now. And maybe he is grieving, I don't know. But even prior to that, it just seems like that there's just something, a little bit off, and something that don't sit well with my spirit. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just the only one, but that was just something that, they opened up with in the scene, and basically, just talking about as far as their marriage. And Toya was going on to say how this trip, has helped them as far as rekindle the flame, honey. I guess they had been, knocking the boots in the bedroom, honey, getting their freak on one time for the mind. Hey, sometimes you got to get away in order to sit here and rekindle. And if that's what it took, that's what it took. But in the next episode, we go to see where they talk about having a baby. Well, Tommy goes to talk about having a baby boy, or that he's ready to have another baby. So we'll see how that further develops. And I also get some more into their storyline as I progress in this review right here. But what I wanted to sit here and focus on is to talk about, once again, it all goes back to the whole thing of Tiny, walking in and basically talking to Monica and Toya, and they all, just having a discussion with, the other girls about the whole Deja situation. Now, let me take a sip of my lemonade, honey, because I'm finna give y'all my unfiltered opinion on this shit, because I think it's some, I see the shit, Tiny, and you know I'm not about to let you off the hook. You my girl, I love you, but I can't let you off the hook. Can't let you off the hook now. All right, y'all, so look. So all I'm gonna say is that this scene, you know, as far as going into the whole Deja thing, started off with, you know, Monica talking about her nude photo, blah, blah, blah. Look, we don't really care about all that. What I really care about is how it transitioned over into Tiny sitting asking the girls what they thought about as far as the headlines with the whole T.I. and Deja situation. Basically, everybody was on one accord that responded back. That was, you know, as far as in that scene, saying that they personally wouldn't feel comfortable. Excuse me, they feel like, you know, as far as a female and what goes on between her legs is her business. They personally said that, you know, their dad would never do, like, everybody was pretty much saying the opposite of what Tiny was thinking. And Tiny's response to it, and this is the part that really sit here and pissed me the hell off, is that, you know, she had the nerve to go and sit here and say, well, you know, Deja had did something that sit here and prompted, you know, as far as T.I. to sit here and take Deja to the gynecologist and all this other stuff. So, you know, she was doing something she had no business sitting here and doing. And because of that, that's how all of this stuff got sit here and started. And then she went on to say, well, if Deja felt some kind of way, then she should have sit here and brought it forth to T.I.'s attention or whatever, and said that I don't feel comfortable with you saying coming with me to see the doctor about my hymen, pretty much. Girl, really? Now look, once again, I understand. And I think you mentioned somewhere in this episode that, you know, as far as when it comes to your input, your thoughts, opinion about as far as how this goes, Tiny, when it comes to raising Deja, you said that you leave it to the other, you know, you don't feel like that you're in a position to do it, and that, you know, her mom, you know, as far as could speak more on it. Well, you should definitely sit here and let her mom speak the hell on it, because clearly what you just said was some bullshit. I don't give a damn what she's saying did. The shit looks awkward and it sounds awkward and it just sounds violated. And then you went on to sit here and say, Tiny, to make things worse, you went on to sit here and mention, well, you know, if King had an issue or whatever, he would come to me or whatever, and he would, you know, say blah 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 blah, and I'll be like, go ask your daddy. See, this is the problem that I have. And like I said, Tiny, my girl, I love you. However, I'm gonna sit here and tell you, when you're wrong, you're wrong. And when it comes down to it, you know good time well that your husband is a narcissist, and he got this personality to where he think that shit is all about him, and he's not about as far as relinquishing control to a woman. You already know how he feels about stuff like that. So for you to make this statement, you basically was giving him a pass to sit here and say that he was, you know, as far as had validation to do what he did. When no, the fuck he didn't. So sit down. I'm gonna need for you to sit here and have several seats and go and sip on that drink some more and reevaluate, because that's some bullshit. I'm just gonna sit here and call it like I see it. No, he do not. I don't care if she was out here damn, you know, throwing it back on about 6 or 7 men. He still ain't got no right to sit here and be trying to invade her privacy and go and sit here, and as far as going with her to the gynecologist and stuff like that. Furthermore, I think that's a woman's job. If you really want to sit here and bring as far as, you know, parenting into it, I feel like a woman would be more suited, you know, as far as to going, you know, to the doctor, and when it comes to discussing female problems, because how the hell is a man gonna understand female problems? And when Tiny said that, it just really let me know that she really is under T.I.'s thumb when it comes to her being controlled and just being mind controlled and brainwashed like she has been for years. And this man just continued to sit here and make a fool out of her, because that was just some bullshit for her to sit here and make. And you see how everybody in the room responded. They didn't really sit here and want to call you out on your shit, because, you know, like I said, it seems like that everybody wants to give passes because they're scared to sit here and speak up because of T.I. But you can clearly see how everybody really was not with the shit when you said what you said as far as in that statement. That's all I'm saying. Now, with that being said, you did mention that Tip is an excellent father, and you mentioned the reason why Deja is upset because of talking about her private life. However, notice y'all in that confession when she said that, how she was just carefully trying to articulate her words because she know that T.I. gonna go back and be watching this shit, and he probably gonna sit here and give her ass hell and be cussing her ass the fuck out when he go and sit and see what she had to say about all of this stuff. I'm telling you now, you gotta watch stuff. Sometimes you gotta have the spirit of discernment, and you gotta keep your eye and look at the bigger picture. And I'm telling y'all, that lady is being controlled by that man. That's why she's scared to sit here and speak up. All right, y'all. So the next scene, we basically got like a family dinner to where they got fireworks and stuff going on. They got a nice layout, a nice spread. Y'all know how the other rich side scene do. They be doing it up, and I love, like I said, I love seeing black excellence, seeing come together and have a good time. So I just thought this scene was just giving me everything. When I tell you everything, just to see all of this, blackness just all around everywhere, I was living for it. However, with that being said, the scene opens up, with the dinner. Basically, Zanique was, saying that, she is concerned about her sister Deja, and that she, whenever there are things to where, she starts to feel uncomfortable, she just tries to make everything around Deja feel normal as possible, such as, talking about other family stuff to get her mind off of it, or just cracking and joking, as a big sister should, sit here and do. So I definitely, commend Zanique because, I've always wondered how the dynamics between their relationship, is between the two of them. So kudos to Zanique for that. All right, so the next thing that happened is that Toya, was basically, just talking about as far as the tension that was in the room. Of course, you can tell that it was tension at the table because, everybody was looking around at Deja and everybody up here like, oh shit, what's gonna see happen, T.I. at the table, stuff like that. And, basically it just was like, you can tell that tension was at the table and that there was an elephant in the room. And like I said, this episode was basically based around Deja once again. So, it was going to have to be addressed at some point or one another. And clearly Deja has already expressed that she's just still frustrated because at this point her dad has still not came to her as she has wished for her dad to sit here and do. And therefore, she still is not really on speaking terms with him. So with that being said, Zonique asks King a question in regards to about his show that's coming up in Chattanooga, and was, talking about, as far as females, and then that led into Reginae seeing, as far as, giving her input on females and relationships and guys and stuff like that. And she was basically saying, if this nigga sit here calling, take us into talking to you every night and all this other stuff, and then he talking about will you sit here and sleep with me? Hell no, I ain't sitting here doing it. And then Deja went to go and see and say something to the extent of, I ain't went that far yet, I ain't went that far. And I'm quite sure that T.I. heard it. I don't know if he heard it or not, but clearly the producers wanted her, or as far as wanted the camera guy to pick up on that, and she said that she ain't went that far, meaning that she has not had sex yet. And I feel like that was a shot taken at T.I. as far as to kind of say, hey, I ain't over here having sex like you trying to sit here and claim to say that I am, and on your public podcast and all that shit. But with that being said, then it kind of awkwardly, I guess because of the editing, progressed to, on the other end of the table, it looks like you had all the young folks, and it looks like maybe Zanique, Deja, some other people that was down there, all busted out into a song. Basically, it was talking about, getting drunk and all this other stuff and trying to get drunk. And everybody just kind of stopped and was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Wait. So then, from that point, T.I., he goes into that father mode. Hey, Deja, come here for a sec. I need to talk to you. And then Deja walks, and so Deja proceeds to walk, to where T.I. is, and she leans down, and, basically, he goes on to sit here and say, engage in 18-year-old activities. You got young kids out here watching you. You heard me? Don't be out here engaging in no doggone 20-year-old activities. You feel me? And I'm just like, really? Like, come on now. Like, I can see if these were some random ass kids, T.I., but these are actually people that in close proximity. Yeah, okay, her singing saying she trying to get drunk, but if you want to see him really say that, you should have told the whole people that was singing that song to calm down, that was kids at the table, not saying have her to come down to you and embarrass her on even more than you already have. So at this point, Deja was like, look, I'm over this shit. I don't even want to be here no more, basically. And she was just like, wanting to see and going about her business. So I just was like, here we go once again. The man of the hour got to sit here and make shit difficult when it ain't got to be. But hey, we got Messiah and King talking about the show coming up in Chattanooga. T.I. I know mentioned that if King can sell 300 tickets, he would, as far as under his, part of the bet. And if not, of course he would lose the bet. To be honest, y'all, with the whole King situation, I mean, I like some of King's music. There's some of his music that I sit here and enjoy. But, I just really kind of feel like this episode was really not about King. It was really about the Deja situation. So that's what I'm going to see him stay focused on. So with that being said, scene open with, we have T.I. and Tiny. Basically, as far as at T.I. At the old house, because I know Tiny moved out. Not sure if she moved back in. But we got T.I. and Tiny at the house. And Tamara and Kamaya, which are T.I. and Tiny's nieces, walk, into the house. And basically was telling, T.I. how, Deja is hurt. Her feelings are hurt. All of this stuff. She feel like her voice is not being heard and things of that nature. And, basically was just going on to sit here and just rambling on and on and on about. But what I did not hear was the accountability part, which is, T.I., you need to sit here and step up to the plate and sit here and go and talk to that girl. You need to sit and have a conversation with that girl. And the reason why I say that is because Tiny even confirmed it when she said that nobody wants to talk to T.I. like that, as she mentioned in her confessional. And see, that's the problem right there. Nobody wants to talk to T.I. as far as to sit here and set him off or cause him to be a ticking time bomb and all of that other stuff. So therefore, everybody just kind of tiptoes around the situation. So we had that whole scene, which I felt like once again was a failed opportunity. And if this T.I. and Tiny's niece, Kamaya and Tamara, are really as close to the family as, the producers are trying to see and portray them to see him be, I feel like that they should have been in a place to sit here and speak up, or somebody need to sit here and say something to T.I. to get his attention, because I feel like nobody is saying nothing. Everybody at this point in the episode that I've heard so far has either said that they don't want to have no comment on it, they don't want to speak on it, or that you can't talk to T.I. like that. It's always something about the fact of being afraid to speak to T.I. And that's the problem that I have with this whole thing, is that everybody around is letting this child down in terms of failing this child when it comes to trying to resolve the issue, as the producers are trying to sit here and portray the episode to be, to where people are trying to help resolve the issue and be a mediator, which I feel like nobody's being a damn mediator at this point. Everybody is just tiptoeing around the bullshit. Now, with that being said, let me just give some credit to T.I. when he said that it was not his intention to embarrass or disturb his daughter's mindset, as he stated. However, T.I., come on, did you really sit here and need to have a reminder to sit here and know that Deja is seeing hurt by some of the stuff that you have seen done up until this point? Are you really that blind and really that much of a narcissist, and just focus on yourself instead of something to sit here and not know that this girl is seeing hurting? So it takes somebody to sit and come to you and tell you that she's hurting in order for you to sit here and realize that. Okay, all right, y'all. So the next scene opens up with Tiny and King. King is rehearsing for his Chattanooga show. And, Tiny walks up in there and it's like, y'all are boring. Y'all ain't giving no energy. King, I'm gonna need for you to put some more umph into it. Your dad is saying got a bet out, and he's expecting you not to see him as far as live up to the bet. Once again, y'all, it just this whole kind of fill-in part just seemed like a fill-in, because everything still seemed to be centered around Deja. But for the sake of anybody who may be interested, Tiny went on to sit here and say that, as far as giving King pointers based on her experience with being in a girl group, as well as being a solo artist, that, he has to really sit here and bring it. And they also go to refer back to the last time that Tiny got up into King's ass and he started boohooing crying with Messiah, escorting him out the room, because of the fact that, Tiny was getting into the ass about as far as with him, you know, doing what he need to be saying doing. So, you know, it just always to me have seemed like such a different dynamic when it comes to the kids and how, you know, the parents, T.I. and Tiny, are involved in the children's lives and their inputs, because some of the kids, they seem to be more vocal and be more opinionated with some of them, and then other ones not so much so. So, you know, with that being said, it's whatever. Like I said, I definitely do like some of King's music, but King, I feel like, has a lot of growing up to do. He definitely gives me a lot of self-entitlement vibes, you know, to him, much like Darius, as I mentioned in my previous video with B Love's Life, who sometimes may not be open-minded when it comes to being awake to some of the stuff that's going on in the world because he's lived such a closed-off life. But it is what it is. The life of a celebrity kid, I guess. So the next thing we have Toya, and I believe his name is Red, I want to see him say. Now let me tell y'all, Red, honey, Toya, no disrespect to your husband, to your future, well, you think he's probably not fiance. Look, I had to take a sip off that, because when I tell you Red's so damn fine, Red can get it. I'm telling you, that man is more finer than a 2-piece special on the church's Tuesday. I'm just saying. But anyways, Red, you know, the scene starts with Red, you know, as far as guiding Toya down the steps into the basement. He has this nice dinner set up that he claims to have cooked, knowing damn well he probably can't cook a lick like me. And Toya, you know, basically goes on to say that, you know, how she's been dropping hints about, you know, wanting to get married to Red, and you know, she thinks that this is about to be the proposal. Turns out it wasn't a proposal or whatnot. But you know, y'all, I really like them two together. Now, this was the scene that I did not fast forward on, because I really do like seeing them together. You know, Toya has been through a lot. She has been, you know, had death in the family, been through divorce, been through heartache with relationships, and I'm just happy to see her happy finally. She finally has found somebody that seems to balance her. And if you look at her Instagram and just look at videos and stuff like that that she's been doing, like live streams, you can tell that she's really happy at a happy place right now. And I just love them two together, and I just wish them the best. I love it. It's just gorgeous. Cut the camera off. Next scene we have is Tiny and T.I. riding in the Bentley. Honey, I don't know what that truck name, but it was a nice Bentley SUV, honey. It was giving me sickening vibes, honey, just sickening. But they're riding in the back of the truck, and basically, you know, they're back in Atlanta now. Deja is back in school. You know, Tiny goes on to say that, you know, as of this point, neither T.I. or Deja has spoken to one another. Tiny suggests that that T.I. calls Deja in the truck. He proceeds to call her, don't get an answer. You can see the disappointment on his face. And yeah, like I said, at this particular point, like Tiny said, you can clearly tell that there's a bigger issue at hand, being that at this point, neither one of them has spoken to each other. But we're going to see how the, you know, as far as progression takes place as we go on out through the end of this episode. So on to the next scene. All right, so next scene we have pretty much Rain's book signing, Toya's daughter. And y'all, Rain is so adorable. When I tell you she is so adorable, honey, and in that confessional when she was talking to her mom and, you know, was telling her mom to be quiet and stuff like that, or cut it and stuff, I just thought that was just the cutest thing. But we basically have Rain's book signing. Red is there, LaToya was there, and basically, you know, just pretty much the whole cast except Tiny, which LaToya asked, you know, Toya about, you know, where was she at, and she was basically telling her how she was still dealing with the Deja drama, excuse me, as well as getting ready for King's show. Fast forward, we got King's show, which was nice, y'all. He did a good job. He ended up only selling 193 tickets as a result of all of that, which he lost the bet. However, T.I. was still encouraging and said that he was still proud of him for doing his own thing, you know, still stepping out on the limb, things of that nature. However, I did want to sit here and add in here that one of the things that I still feel some kind of way about is that it had this been, and I think it was also mentioned, you know, as far as later on we'll see in the episode, that had this been King, as far as the tables were turned, you know, there would have been, as far as no keeping track of what his sex life would have been, because, you know, T.I. has always made it be known that, you know, when it comes to a man's role and how a man should be the provider. And clearly that he was not raised around a lot of women. And so as a result of that, his perspective on how he feels on how it is to, you know, raise a man versus a woman is different. So, you know, I just kind of feel like that, I don't know, it's a little, would I say borderline sexism, sexist? I don't know, but I just feel like that. T.I., you need to get it together because you be weighing me out. Got me damn wanting to drink. Now we down to the last big thing. The big thing, what it's all about. The interview, well, I guess if you want to call it an interview, but basically T.I. had Deja's mom, Renika, on his show to, you know, basically do some damage control. That's what I would call it, because at this point, he know he done messed up. So with that being said, scene opens with, you know, T.I. introducing Deja's mom, Renika, you know, and quiet as kept, y'all, honey. I thought that was Lisa Ray. I ain't gonna even sit here and lie, but that's a whole nother situation. Maybe I didn't have glasses on, but I sure thought that was Lisa Ray for a second with that damn sitting up there like she was sitting looking all light and bright. But yeah, Renika came on the show and basically was speaking on behalf of Deja, because, you know, at this point there had been no communication between Deja and T.I. And so T.I. reached out to her mom to say what can, you know, be done. And so she agreed to come on the show and speak on behalf of Deja and just express, you know, how Deja is feeling. So they open up, you know, to start with, as far as talking about Deja and basically talking about the situation at hand. Now look, if y'all notice now, Renika took that damn jacket off because she wasn't coming. She wasn't with the shit. She wasn't about to sit here and let T.I. think he was going to sit here and sit on this show again and embarrass their daughter on this damn show. So you saw how she took that damn jacket off because she was coming there. Like, you can tell by her posture. She was, you know, she was ready. Like, she was ready, Freddie. But yeah, they started off with talking about Deja and how, you know, pretty much Renika said that it's the way that T.I. had presented it. T.I. said that he was making light of a conversation that led into him making jokes about, you know, taking his daughter, you know, to get checked out. And then there was a whole thing of, you know, as far as leaving notes, you know, on the door, and you know, as far as, you know, having these annually annually sessions, I guess, if you want to call it that, with the doctor, and leaving notes on the door, just, you know, all kind of crazy shit. And, you know, basically T.I. was just saying that he didn't mean anything by it. And Renika said that, you know, it was the way it was presented that embarrassed Deja. And, you know, she went on to, you know, sit here and say that Deja is very, you know, sensitive, and that, you know, she's very, very low key, not really as far as a public person like that. And so as the conversation progressed on, you know, there was a moment to where the producers, you know, brought up the whole thing of the hymen, and how, you know, that your hymen, you know, cannot be, if it is, you know, broken, it can be broken in different ways, such as horseback riding, things of that nature. And, you know, to kind of, I guess you would say, piggyback off that, T.I. kind of got in his feelings when that comment was made, and, you know, went on to say that, you know, because he's a traditional person, as far as old-fashioned, doesn't make him a bad person. And so, you know, at this particular point, as things started to get heated, Renika went on to say that, you know, basically she was trying to let, you know, as far as the audience, the viewers know that T.I. was not raised by women. And because he was not raised, you know, by women, he wasn't, you know, as far as raised with sisters. And definitely, you know, he was, you know, he's always been a person to provide and protect, as he stated out of his own mouth. That's just his mentality, that, you know, he sees how he sees fit to raise his children, and that he's always had to figure out this thing as far as being a parent, learning how to be an adult, learning how to be a father, learning how to be a man, period, on his own, because he didn't have the fundamentals and necessities as far as that, you know, other people may have had, as far as having, you know, growing up with two parents, you know, in the household, and growing up with her, you know, as far as, I guess, if you want to call it a normal family. So because of that, he's had to figure out this thing called life on his own, and that basically was his defense when it comes to how he does things and how he operates and how he moves. But once again, I will say that he still comes across as a narcissist sometimes, and he still comes across as, I'm not going to admit when I'm wrong. However, just stay tuned, because we will sit here and find out at the end of this interview that he does actually admit that, look, he was wrong. He understood, as far as the where, Deja was coming from, as far as why she was hurt, and things of that nature. And, he also, stated that one of the things, well, let me backtrack, because before I go into that, he, y'all know I forget the lady's name, Renika, also went to see him and state that, she was going to cut T.I. some slack. And I think at this point, because he was so heated, he wasn't even willing to sit here and listen to what she had to say, even though what she ended up saying was in his defense by sitting here saying that she was going to cut him some slack, because of the fact that she understood as far as his childhood of not being raised up in a regular home, and not being raised around, women and things of that nature. But he was so on the defense. That's why I say that he got that personality, the way he always is just, so shielded and always just want to attack everybody and just control everything. He don't learn how to just sometimes shut up and listen. And you saw how he reacted. And then when she said what she said, he was like, yeah, he kind of piped down, because she was trying to give him credit to make people understand why he is like he is. So that was that. And then the other thing that I see him wanting to make a note of is that, he mentioned about as far as, the whole double standards, because Renika had mentioned that it's very misogynistic for, him not to treat King the same way that he treats Deja. And so because of that, it's just one of those things to where she kind of feels like that, hey, you need to like really just, take a step back and reevaluate some of the things that you are doing, because you don't treat your other children like this, like you do, with Deja, and you wouldn't do that to King, which I do feel like, she had reason to, as far as explain to him and state to him why, she feels that he is misogynistic, which he does come off across as that. So, after all of this was said, and the conversation kind of, as far as came around to an end, he actually, lo and behold, who would have thought, accepted accountability. He went on to say that he was wrong, and he actually issued an apology out to Deja for his behavior, and said that, look, he's sorry if he's done anything to hurt her, and he's just, pretty much, just was trying to be a father, and that was that. But, one thing that y'all notice now, how he is with everybody else, you see Renika was like, look, I'm not here for the shit. And you see T.I. didn't see him really give her too much, because he knows that Renika cannot be controlled, unlike Tiny. And see, that's what the shit that you got to sit here and watch. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, y'all, this concludes the Season 3, Episode 13 review of T.I. and Tiny, Friends and Family Hustle. Stay tuned for more videos coming from Mr. 6'8". All of my fun sizers, as I like to call my supporters, you all just stay tuned on my channel, subscribe, like, and share this video. Until next time, peace.